This has been one of the most difficult videos to make because it is so frustrating to talk about this team. The San Francisco 49ers have been one of the most embarrassing and frustrating teams this year that looking at people trying to defend them is genuinely infuriating because they're not seeing the writing on the wall with this team. The fact of the matter is, the San Francisco 49ers have shown so far that they are billions and billions of light years away from last year's form. And I don't think that's much of a hot take to say, because if you look at the games that they've played so far, they have been from choking games against the Rams and the Cardinals to getting absolutely pounded at home by the Kansas City Chiefs, and lastly, just losing to a better team in Minnesota. I get that it's still a very young season. We're at week 8 now going on, but can we just sit here and be real for a second when we say that the San Francisco 49ers have shown absolutely nothing in terms of being a playoff contender? The fact of the matter is, there are so many other teams that have looked better than them. Every team in the NFC North has looked better. The Buccaneers have looked better. The Commanders have looked better. The Falcons have looked better. It's to the point where the Seahawks, even though the 49ers beat them a week ago, they look better than them. And they can be injured to hell all they want, and we can say that excuse till the world runs dry. They're not competing this year. And people need to understand that really soon. Because after Dallas, which I don't even think they might beat them there, you have the bye week, and then you have Buffalo, you have Buccaneers, you have Green Bay, you have the Lions, you have the Rams and Cardinals again, you have the Bears, you have a healthy Miami. You really think during that stretch the 49ers are either going to suddenly get better or just instantly everyone get healthy? No. What's going to happen is more and more of their players are going to get hurt, because when you go up against good teams, you get hurt. And the fact of the matter is, the Niners have already lost so many pieces on this team. Trent Williams has been non-existent because no one knows why he isn't playing. Brandon Ayuk just tore his ACL. Deebo Samuel is in the hospital with pneumonia. And Christian McCaffrey is in Germany trying to find some scientists to fix him, which that's a whole nother story in and of itself. And it's still, he has players that can help him on this team. He has George Kittle, he has Jawan Jennings. Most of the line is still somewhat decent. But yet everyone is defending this team. Because for some reason, if you don't win a Super Bowl in like multiple years, and you're still somehow quote unquote considered top of the league at the start of the season, everything's fine. Nothing. You get a pass on everything because we expect more from you. It is week 7 and people are still waiting for the Niner boot to drop so that way they can get back to their form. I'll tell you something, that Niner boot isn't going to drop because they're not going to do anything once they get to that stretch of games. They might very well finish under 500 this season due to how rough they have it for the rest of the year. The Niners had a time to win, and you want to know what they did? They blew against the Rams, they blew against the Cardinals, they got walloped at home by the Chiefs, and they lost to Minnesota. They're 3-4 right now, and 9 times out of 10, 3-4 teams with really easy schedules to start don't often make the playoffs. They have it so rough that I can even say right now, I wouldn't even be surprised if they went 7-10 to finish out the year. And there's so many stuff to say. Like Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy had a great year last year. He was almost an MVP candidate. This year, he looks like a shell of whatever last year was. And you can say, oh, but he's had injuries on the offense. Oh, this, oh, that. Good quarterbacks, especially franchise quarterbacks, can overcome that. Geno Smith did it. Tom Brady did it. Aaron Rodgers did it. Joe Burrow did it. Hell, even Kirk Cousins did it. You want to know what Brock Purdy hasn't shown? He hasn't shown that he can win without his team being injured. And that is not an unfair thing to say. When Brock Purdy's on the field and he has his guys around them, he looks great. And I like it. But when he doesn't, guess what? You get games like the Chiefs. And if you can't beat the Chiefs with those guys, even if you get your current guys back, who are still going to be hurt because they won't be fully recovered, because knowing this team, they're going to make a playoff push. How are you going to expect to beat anyone in the Super Bowl, let alone the wild card? Because right now, they're looking up the wild card right now, and they might not even make it in due to how strong the NFC is. The Buccaneers are good. The Falcons are good. The Commanders are good. The entire NFC North is a complete gauntlet to run. The Seahawks look halfway competent. And I don't think so, but some people will think that the Eagles are still looking fine and that, a team like, I don't know, the Cowboys or the Seahawks will find some way to sneak it in. The fact of the matter is, this team can't do anything anymore. They are stuck in the worst possible situation. They have to find some way to make the playoffs with what they got right now. And they have to rely on the quarterback, which their quarterback has been regressing ever since earlier this season. So, I'm just going to flat out say this now. They're done. They're done for the season right off the 49ers because they're not making it back. The only time that I think they even make it back is a Seahawks collapse and they find some way to win against two of those teams down that stretch, which could be possible. But at the same time, this team's just so frustrating, man. I don't know what else they can do to fix it. Everyone thought this team was going to go back to the Super Bowl and beat the Chiefs and finally dethrone them. But look at them now. They look horrible. They look like a team that could very easily be beaten by a mid-tier AFC team. And that is the most saddest thing of them all. Also, to everyone thinking that Myles Garrett or Max Crosby is going to get traded at the deadline, please, for the love of God, whatever you're huffing, whether it's Galaxy Gas or Hopium or Copium or anything like that, please seek a life or seek something else. I am playing this video over right now to express my genuine feelings towards that because you all annoyed the ever-living hell out of me for thinking that a franchise, even as dumb as the Raiders in Cleveland, would trade their franchise cornerstones for 2 first-round picks, especially in the middle of the season.